Hello guys. So I've had many rapture dreams over the years, but this one is a little bit different than the last one that I've shared. Now I will try my very best to explain so that you guys can understand. Now in this rapture dream, I was suddenly taken by an angel, and he held both of my arms and he started flying off with me. Now I remember that at one point, while we were flying over the land, the angel stopped at what appeared to be some kind of graveyard, and then we waited for a second. And what was happening is the Lord wanted me to see something. I then saw someone shooting up out of the dirt, very powerfully, and shooting up towards the sky. I remember seeing dirt flying everywhere. This person was raised with great power. Now, at some point while they were still rising up, the Lord froze them in mid-air so that I could notice them, so that I could take notice of what they looked like. Now, this person was in their glorified body, and they were wearing a beautiful white robe, glistening and bright, very glorious. And so the angel carried me around this person, while they were still there in mid-air, frozen, so that I could take notice of them. And after a few minutes, the Lord caused them to start moving again, and they continued heading upwards. Now, the angel continued to carry me across the land, and we were flying over and in between trees some of the times. Now, I remember in particular, the angel was heading towards an unfinished building, which was an unfinished house, which was made out of concrete. Now, I could see that we were heading towards this concrete house from quite a distance, and from my perspective, in my calculations, it appeared to me as if the angel was flying and heading directly into the concrete structure. And so I was a bit concerned. And so as we drew near to it, I'm thinking to myself, does he not see the concrete wall? Because he was above me and he held my hands, and I was like swinging beneath him while he was carrying me. But it had appeared that I was the one that was about to collide with this concrete wall. Now, judging by the speed that we were going, I'm thinking to myself, oh man, this is not good at all. We're about to collide with this concrete wall. And so I flinched and started to brace for impact. But beloved, to my amazement, we went right through the concrete wall. And I was relieved, because for a moment there, I thought that I was a goner. I'm pretty sure that the angel must have thought that was funny. We continued traveling until we ended up in America, and the angel dropped me off somewhere in America. Now, this part is significant. From the very moment that the angel had dropped me off, from the very second that my feet had touched the ground, it was as if the rapture had just occurred again. And let me explain why I said it happened again. From the moment that the angel had first took me from somewhere in the Caribbean and was carrying me and showing me all of these things, and then dropped me off in America, from my calculation, that took no less than 20 minutes. We had to have been traveling for more than 20 minutes. But not only that, we had to be traveling in a different dimension, like in a different realm, because the very fact that we went through that concrete wall, I was now changed. And so, when this angel dropped me off in America, it was as if absolutely no time had passed from the moment that he had took me from the Caribbean until the moment that he had dropped me off in America. I hope you guys are getting this. Absolutely zero time had passed from the angel that took me from somewhere in the Caribbean and dropped me off in America. Because I remember clearly that the moment that my feet had touched the ground, some people were raptured. Yes, beloveds, some people were raptured. They were gone. The Lord took them. But I was transformed and I was transported to the United States, to America. So the explanation for this is one of two things. It's either this angel was moving faster than time itself, or it's that time itself came to a stop while the rapture happened, which is what I believe had occurred, because I've had other visions which confirms this. So beloveds, there you have it. The rapture will take place so fast that if you blink, you will miss it, because time will literally stop, and within a moment, within a twinkling of an eye, it would have occurred. And so the angel had dropped me off at a specific place, which was to minister to two brothers in Christ. And so I can imagine from their perspective, it would seem as if I just appeared out of thin air. Yes, beloveds, to them I must have appeared out of thin air. And in that instant, the rapture, it seemed as if it had just occurred to me again, like it had took place twice. But that wasn't the case. That was just because time had stopped in our reality. And I was taken from one point in time and moved or placed in another, with absolutely no time passing at all. Yes, beloveds, I know it sounds incredible, but that's what had occurred. Now, these two beloveds that I was to minister to, they had just found out that the rapture had occurred and they had missed it. So they were very, very, very angry. And I remember thinking to myself, oh man, I'm going to have to deal with these angry people. And so the last thing that I remembered before this vision ended was one of the brothers taking out his anger in a can that was on the ground and kicked it away angrily. And then I started to approach them to explain what had just happened and why they were left. And that there was the end of that experience. Now, beloveds, that's all I'm going to share for this experience. The Lord King bless and keep you all. Love from a brother in Christ.